Episode 85, Family Members Are Enemies. When Ilwajiamjan came out of Mook, I was crouching down and looking at the flowers growing in one corner of the yard. Isn't it fascinating? You've already grown so much. I raised it for fun. Next time, I'll have to raise one myself. It won't be easy because you're so busy. After all, it's going to be a weed field, right? I have to do what I'm good at. I stood up from my crouching position. I came today as a Nomu friend. Welcome back. Ilwajiamjan's expression brightened. It seemed like she had been waiting for this day for a really long time. Thank you so much for all your help recently. Is there any help? When leaking information to Saojong, when Kyongseon becomes a Mason, and when visiting the leader of the Puncheon Church. Although he said he was only halfway through his words, his actions were more than just a person's way through everything. This is a gift of gratitude. What kind of gifts are there? Please accept it because it is my sincerity. She opened the small box I gave her. What was inside was Yami Yongju. It was one of the night wines that I got from Jiamesu, the golden Jangju in the past. Something this precious. It's different from the old man Thomas. They gave poisoned wine to Thomas. When I emphasized that point, Ilwajiamjan laughed, probably because it was funny. In this way, we are breaking down the dam of bloodshed and accumulated bad feelings. If you take out the stones one by one day you will see the other person. It's really beautiful. To put it mildly, it is a top-quality wild wine. It is something that is difficult to obtain even if you pay money. It's condescending enough. Still, nothing can compare to your beauty. The old man's jumchil is too much. Ilwajiamjan waved his hand, but his face was smiling broadly. Although she has changed a lot in many ways since before, this part of her that never changes is her weakness for compliments on her appearance. You have the potential to become a womanizer later on. I'm trying to live like that. I will have fun going around and meeting all the beauties in Jungwon. It would be nice to have that kind of life, but the words that would not be possible if you become a heavenly demon were omitted. There is a world of difference between walking around now and walking around as a heavenly demon. Actually, my father, wouldn't he just stay at our school because he wasn't frustrated? You must be careful because the fate of Murim depends on your every step. I'd rather go out and have fun now. It will be difficult later. I will. Now then, shall we relax for the first time in a while? This is the moment I've been looking forward to. Originally, the person I wanted to take care of after my father was Hyul Kyondo. But after rubbing with my father, I started to feel itchy. I came to see her first because I felt like I wanted to continue dancing. It was definitely different from the last time we danced. Her subtle movements were felt more clearly. Before I could feel it, I saw it with my eyes. Just like my father did to me, I pushed her harder than before. This was possible because I had confidence that I could control my sword. She fought desperately and I did my best too. When the dance was finished, Ilwajiamjan took a deep breath and expressed his surprise. Even though she used all her strength except for one last trick, she was unable to subdue me. Your skills have improved since last time. There was learning along the way. It's really amazing, it's really amazing. She was happy but also sad at the same time. If you grow up this fast, I won't be able to compete with you anytime soon. I did my best for the next meeting with my senior. Ilwajiamjan understood what I meant and nodded. You probably want this old man to grow up, right? How dare you be so arrogant? I want to be friends with my senior for the rest of my life. At my honest words, Ilwajiamjan's eyes flashed with unconcealed emotion. It's also my effort to get her on the right wing. Before leaving there, we talked about various things related to Bimu. It was clear that my skills were ahead, but that didn't mean I didn't have something to learn from her. There was a learning of a different nature from the learning I got from my father. We started by talking about martial arts and then talked about various aspects of life. It was such a happy time that she couldn't help but feel sad when she said goodbye. Next, we went to the residence of Hyul Kyondo. But he wasn't home. After waiting for a while, I came back in vain and found Hyul Kyondo waiting in front of my house. Where are you wandering around like that at night? Have you hidden a woman somewhere? It looks like the paths diverged. If you came, please go inside and wait. Why are you waiting here? There's a soldier inside. Done. Now that we are part of the same family, are you husband and wife? What about family members? My family is my worst enemy. It seems like things are still awkward with Gowal. Well, it became easier for me, but this grumpy old man still didn't like interacting with people easily. What's going on? I came to tell you some news. What news? Hyal Kiondoma spoke to me with a serious face. Mabul left to fetch the Archduke. I wasn't surprised. It was an expected move. The news that Punchan cult soldiers came to me must have reached the Megans who support my brother. I guess I decided I couldn't just watch it anymore. Coincidentally, my older brother had returned to our school around this time in his life before his return. What will happen will happen. Mabul is always busy. Should I go pick up the leader of the Punchan church or should I go pick up my brother? That little human is very diligent. What on earth is your brother doing in the outskirts? I don't know either. Of course I know. My brother is now passing through a gateway that will change his life. That fact came to light only after his brother came, and after that, he completely solidified his position as successor. Are you okay, old man? What? You came to me because you were supporting your brother, right? My older brother may blame you. If you're going to do it, do it. In this respect, it was Hyal Kiondoma with clear values. If there is a better option, you should choose it. If there is someone who ties it into a human relationship and says something about it, it is not helpful in life at all. You are correct. What is right? The same applies to abandoning you. I really like the clarity of Hyal Kiondoma. Are you okay? What? After a moment, Hyal Kiondoma spoke. What would you do if you were in a situation where you had to kill your brother? If you do something deadly, you should be killed. It's okay to pretend to be strong. I chuckled at those words. Yes, it's true that you pretend to be strong. Because killing one's own flesh and blood was never easy. It is not a matter of whether I am stronger in martial arts than my brother or not. The fight with my brother is a fight that requires all my strength. What Hyal Kiondoma said earlier as a joke was correct. Family members are the worst enemies. You're right. Of course it's not okay. I'm not cold-blooded, so how could it be okay for me to kill my brother? I'm not someone who will die easily. I turned around and shouted into the house. Let the soldier come out. Gowal came out of the house. Are you here? After greeting me, Gaou also politely greeted Hyal Kiondoma. I heard that Mabul went to pick up my brother. What do you think? Gowal could not easily answer. If it were another enemy, the soldier would have no choice but to be cautious when the brother of the chief he served became an enemy. After pondering for a moment, he spoke carefully. The life or death of the Grand Duke will not be a matter for you to decide. The Archduke will decide for himself. In the end, his fate would be determined by how his brother turned out. I nodded, but Hyal Kiondoma did not trust him yet. I helped you because you wanted to recruit me. Hyal Kiondoma slowly approached and stood in front of Gaou. Hyal Kiondoma looked straight into Gowal's eyes and said, Is there any guarantee that he won't betray us? The expression "we" caught my ear. For the first time, Hyal Kiondoma used the expression "we" to me. It may have been said inadvertently, but it meant a lot to me. The person who threatened me by poking me to the point of bruising my side has now become us. Even under the pressure of Hyal Kiondoma, Gowal was not afraid. What about Mason? Do you have a guarantee that you will not betray Confucius? The corner of Hyal Kiondoma's mouth curled up when asked if you could betray him too. There are no guarantees. I will betray when I want to betray. I'm here to prevent that. Then you. Who's stopping you? I will not betray. How can you believe that? You just have to trust Confucius. Don't forget that I'm watching. He did not stop the war of nerves between the two. Isn't that my outlook on life? Rather than aggravating wounds and conflicts, we must reveal them, dig into them, and fight to resolve them. Hyal Kiondoma spoke to me with an expression of hesitation as to whether he should speak or not. The sect leader will hope that you and the Archduke will not fight. I do not wish for the Archduke's death or yours. I was able to see once again that Hyal Kiondoma knew his father well. It is clear that he had a special relationship with his father, to the point where he drew a line on the floor and was confident that his father thought this much of him. I was feeling it too. After returning home, when I went hunting with my father asked me in passing if I could carry my older brother. That question contained my true feelings. The leader is a person who never looks back. That's the only thing a person like that regrets. Even if it lasts forever, scars remain in the heart. Did you say you knew the leader's feelings? Yes. Then that's it. That's it. That's what my father said to me after we finished the massage. My father's words and these words from Hyolki and Doma are strangely powerful. Do I have anything to prepare? I always have one favor to ask the elderly. Something? You are reconciling. What reconciliation? Can you believe it? Hyolki and Doma realized that it meant reconciliation between himself and Ilwa Geomzen. The Archduke is coming, and you're asking for reconciliation. You must be so crazy. If Hyolki and Doma was so shocked, would he have asked Gowal for consent? Your master is such a crazy person. Then Gowal answered. Because I'm not normal either. The two Hyolki and chopping boards shook their heads, saying they were crazy. I persuaded Hyolki and Doma again. When my brother returns, the other Masons will step forward in earnest, but we can't fight with one wing, right? I would like that too, but haven't I seen enough so far? When Geomzen sees me, he shoots me viciously. Yes, I've seen enough. As time goes by, the resentment becomes less frequent. The eyes glaring at the elderly are gradually softening. Nevertheless, Hyolki and Doma shook his head. Our reconciliation is more difficult than Murim unity. I'm leaving. I shouted at Hyolki and Doma, who was turning around. Even if you don't unite with Murim, you must reconcile. Without answering, Hyolki and Doma walked slowly and disappeared into the darkness. I took care of it right from the beginning of the month. Are you okay? Yes. It's okay. Don't worry too much. Because he's an old man with a mean personality. You have to pay attention. It's Confucius left wing. Don't worry about me. As you know, I haven't had an easy life. But I know. Just because someone is like that doesn't mean they won't get hurt. I understand. Still, if you have something to say to me, please say it. If anything upsets me, I'll tell you. Yes. I will definitely do that. Actually, the right-wing candidate is Ilwa Geomzen. Please take note. All right. Then sleep comfortably. I couldn't fall asleep until late that day. There is no need to think about how my brother turned out in his past life. When my brother comes back, I will see him. In my last life I couldn't see anyone clearly, so now I will see him clearly. I will see with my own eyes what kind of person he is. I will clearly see what the reality of all the things in my memory is. As always, fire weapons are helpful in times like this. If I am a vessel that cannot overcome my brother, I will die by Hwamugi anyway. Episode 86. It's been a while, bro. 2 months have passed since I met with my father. In the meantime, I had reached the 11th level in the Baishan sword technique. He ascended to the next level with the insight he gained through dancing with his father and Ilwa Geomzen. Now there was only one step left. The last step, like the previous one, will require some kind of opportunity. It could be a dance, a real fight, or it could be achieved while looking at flowers with Ilwa Geomzen, reading a poetry collection next to Hyolki and Doma, or taking a walk on a moonlit night with Ian. What no one can predict is the realm of the 12 great stars. Now, I postponed the completion of the Baishan sword technique to another fate of mine and devoted myself to training in the art of space-time anomaly. When you learn martial arts, there are times when you get a feeling. Mu Gong whispers, just a little more, stimulating his entire body. This is the time to grow to the next level. The stimulation of space-time pathology continued to come. About 10 days ago, the time was shortened so that the space could expand by slowly counting to about 100. After that, the restriction seemed to have been lifted, and the time decreased each time the space-time anomaly technique was performed. If there is compatibility between martial arts and martial arts, this space-time anomaly is a perfect match for me. This is probably because the depth of enlightenment and the level of talent in martial arts are more important factors than the training period of the martial arts themselves. Because I had reached the highest level in those two things. As I practiced, the time continued to decrease. From 100 to 99, 98, 97. I pushed through to the end without stopping. I created space like crazy as if I was on a speeding carriage. I thought that if I took a wrong turn like this, the carriage might fall off the cliff, but I kept practicing without stopping. Training and training again. And finally the carriage arrived at the last station. The horse didn't fall and I didn't fall off the carriage either. Perfect. The moment I snapped my fingers, my surroundings changed. At the same time, cheers burst out of my mouth. I did it! Finally, I was able to immediately use space-time transformation techniques. It unfolded so naturally, as if it had been my martial arts skill from the beginning. I was now standing on a pure white sandy beach with an endless blue sea. The sky was blue and the sun was hot. There was a tree with large leaves on the beach, and a comfortable chair was placed in the shade under it. A seagull flew far away. This is the space I dream of. It was perfect. As the creation time decreased, the endurance required to maintain this place also decreased. I relaxed on the chair, then took off my clothes and jumped into the sea. After swimming, I looked at the sky and lay down. Watching the floating clouds made me feel very at ease. It was perfect alone time without being disturbed by anyone. Happy. Then suddenly a thought occurred to me. What if we could make time here pass slower than time outside? So what if you could practice martial arts here? Even if you can't completely stop time, what if you can make it go at least half as slowly? It may seem like a dream, but isn't creating a space like this in the first place also a dream? I thought that we should discuss this matter when the Punchan religious leader returns. Of course, he would probably say it was nonsense. As I was lying on the beach enjoying the freedom for a while, I felt that someone had arrived outside the space-time anomaly. When I entered the space created by the Sieb Honmazon or the Punchan cult leader, I could not feel the external situation at all, but when I created the space myself, I was able to know what was happening outside. I immediately released the space-time illusion technique and revealed myself. Is Confucius here? The person who was calling me at the door was Jang Ho. I am here. Django turned around in surprise when he suddenly appeared from behind. Confucius? Where have you been? On the beach with the blue sea flowing over you. I held back what I wanted to answer like this. I was practicing stealth for a while. But what's going on with you? A message has come from the Iron Room. I have completed the production of the item I requested, entrusting it to me for 10,000 years. Then do me a favor. Go get the items and call everyone who was there that day. All right. 7 people were standing in a circle, looking down at the items on the table. The remaining 6 people, including me, were Ian, Seo Daryang, Django, Hyol Keon Doma, Ilwajiamjun, and Gowal. Among the things on the table, he picked up the fan first and gave it to Gowal. This is the fan you asked for. I looked at it and it was well made. Thank you. The materials are materials, but the fact that they were made by our school's best craftsmen makes them even more valuable. I really didn't know you would make it. In addition, since we made the number of people who gathered that day, we also gave it to him. Gowal looked sorry when he received the debt and the rain. I get to. It's a dagger that wouldn't have happened if it weren't for you in the first place. You are giving everyone a gift. It can't be. It was Confucius who gave these shackles to the leader of Punchan. Thank you, I will never forget this great gift. It was a great gift. The dagger that lasted forever was extremely sharp and never broke, so it was truly priceless. As long as I could sell it for the right price, I could afford to buy a few cars. But this was not the end of the gift to him. I released the Gyuk Punchan Jamsa from the handle of the black magic sword. I cut just enough to fill the fan and handed it to Gowal. It's a great place. If you attach this to that fan, it will become a great weapon. Gowal's eyes trembled with emotion. Because these 3 gifts were truly gifts that would be difficult to receive in one's life. I will repay this favor even if it means sacrificing my life. There is no need for that. I give it because I think it has value in the present, not because I am giving it as a gift with my future life or loyalty as collateral. I said it to Gowal, but at the same time, I also said it to others. I handed out the rest of the daggers to everyone. Thank you for watching over me. Thank you. I will put it to good use. Thank you. Everyone was happy and received the dagger. Seo Daryong looked down at Bisu and said worriedly, I'm worried I might lose it. Do your martial arts training harder. The stronger you become, the less likely you are to lose it. When training is difficult, look at that dagger. Yes. Seo Daryong nodded vigorously at my words. This dagger will have different meanings for each person. At that time, Hyol Keon Doma started an argument with Gowal for no reason. There's that incompetent scholar, so what are you worried about? Then someone walked in and said, "Isn't your disciple more likely to be dishonest?" The person who entered was none other than the head of Punction. I asked him with a surprised face, "Are you back already?" It came back earlier than expected. I thought it would take at least 6 months to come back. Because I'm a really impatient person. Then he glanced at Gowal. Gowal smiled at the appearance of a strong supporter. I guess I went somewhere and starved. You're coming back on that fateful day when you get rained on, right? Give me my dagger. The leader of Punction looked at the Bisu. It's really well made. I think we can make this a new thing. Thank you for taking care of mine too. No. I was able to make it in the first place because the religious leader had a generous heart and lifted the shackles. I welcomed his return with kind words. He returned on that fateful day, as he said. But it wasn't the day when fate struck. Someone opened the door and entered. The visitor was tall and had a handsome appearance. The person who looked good in the white Jiangsam embroidered with colorful and sophisticated patterns was my older brother, Grand Duke Jiao Muyang. Everyone's eyes were focused on him. 3 people came in following Jiao Muyang. The first person to enter was Mabul, followed by the old man and the young man. Jiao Muyang found me among the people and walked towards me with wide open arms. "Oh, how are you?" "Right. My brother was like this." This was a man who was confident and well aware of his superiority over others. Although he considered himself smart too much, it became a problem, but he also had a knack for making his arrogance appear as confidence. I was fine. "It's been a while, bro." I hugged Warwick. It wasn't a pretense, it was a sincere hug. I felt my brother be slightly embarrassed by my reaction. He won't know. What am I thinking right now? Brother, don't let me regret holding your body. Please don't let me walk your father's path. I know. Gowal says the outcome is up to his brother, but that's not the case. This matter depends on my efforts. So I'm going to try. Not for my brother, but for me. I guess I was feeling quite different from when I left the school, and a look in Jiao Muyang's eyes flashed. I heard you gained quite a bit of fame while I was away. A fox reigned as king in a valley without tigers. How can the younger brother be a fox when the older brother is a tiger? You don't have to be humble in front of me. At first glance, he seemed like a very friendly older brother who really cared for his younger brother. But in my past life, my older brother bullied me persistently. At the time, I didn't know it was bullying. Ever since I was very young, my older brother tried to instill negative images about martial arts and power. A story about warriors dying while fighting among themselves. A story about people going crazy after falling into a demon. A story about the Masons betraying the heavenly demon. Most of the stories told to me were cruel and negative. It shook my heart with the story that if I tried to attack the jewel veins, the veins would burst and I would die. I overcame it with my natural steadfastness, but it was true that it had a negative effect on me, knowingly or unknowingly. I can't say anything about using all means and methods in the succession battle, but that wasn't something I would do to my younger brother, who was 6 or 7 years old. At that time, Mabul intervened and said, "Gongya Li. Now that the Archduke has returned, I have to help my brother a lot. Who will take care of each other in this rough forest? Humans are so prone to betrayal that there is no one they can trust." At the same time, Mabul looked at Hyolki and Doma. It was originally said aimed at him. I am openly criticizing Hyolki on Doma, who supported Jiao Muyang but then turned to me. Hyolki on Doma, who felt sorry for the Archduke, just snorted. Unlike the provocative Mabul, Jiao Muyang was polite to Hyolki on Doma. "How are you? Elderly? Thanks to you, I had a good time. Are you on your way back now?" "Yes. I just arrived. Have you seen the leader?" "I couldn't see my father because he was already in bed. I guess I'll have to say hello to you tomorrow morning. I think the leader will like it." After exchanging greetings, Jiao Muyang hinted. "Recently, I heard that the elder is helping his younger brother a lot with his work. They say older people are more capricious. You understand?" "No. My brother's work is my work and our school's work. Thank you as my older brother. Thank you for understanding." Jiao Muyang spoke to Ilgwa Jiomzan this time. "You are still beautiful. Our Archduke is also very flirtatious, as he may or may not be a brother." Jiao Muyang took out something from Jangsam's sleeve and gave it to Ilgwa Jiomzan. These are cosmetics that I had difficulty obtaining from Siwi. It is known to be much better than what women in the Central Plains use, so give it a try. Thank you, Archduke. Where would you have brought only Ilkwa Geomjan as a gift? He must have been looking for a lot of things to satisfy the moods of other Masons. Even from this brief greeting, I could clearly see why my brother was ahead of me around this time. At the time, I didn't even know that my brother was taking care of the Megan so meticulously. I guess I was really the only one who saw it. I guess I lived only for my greed. Monarch Jiang, although it is late, I would like to congratulate you on becoming a monarch. Thank you, Grand Duke. The greetings ended there. I did not say hello to Ian and Seo De Ryong. My older brother was a thorough authoritarian. His theory was that if only the superiors made it their own, the rest of the subordinates would naturally follow. After Jiao Muyang finished greeting the two Masons, Mabul came out this time. As soon as he saw the leader of Puncheon, he started an argument. Did they put honey on the pillars of the main school? Why do you keep wandering around? Of course, the head of the Puncheon church did not take it easy either. I pooped and didn't clean it up. A cute little golden poop. Mabul's expression suddenly hardened. The two people glared at each other as if they were going to kill each other. The two people who were closest to each other have split up like this, showing that it is a matter of time for people to become closer, but it is only a moment for them to grow apart. As the two people formed a tense atmosphere, Jiao Muyang gave a signal to the two people behind him with a glance. Then the old man and young man who had come in with Mabul stepped forward to say hello. A cold smile formed on my lips. When they came in, it was the moment I had been waiting for the most. In fact, I had been waiting for this moment for decades. Episode 87, Blood Falls from the Sky. Of the two, the younger man came forward first and greeted them with a wave of his hand. It is said to be Soti from Shirangssi. I have always looked up to Xingyo, but by chance, I became connected to Meijin and met him like this. This person here is my master. Afterwards, the old man also said hello. It is said to be a finale from Shirangssi. It is a pleasure to meet many of the heroes of Shinkyo. In Shirangssi, the priests Soti and Zhongmak do not live. I have never lived and I never will. Their true identity was those called Yunnan Shuanggue. He was a master of disguise and was able to lie about his age. He sometimes disguised himself as a thin man, sometimes as a fat man, or even as a woman. In reality, this young guy who greeted me first is the first of the two and is older than the second one disguised as an old man. They disguised themselves as all kinds of people to deceive people, and in the process committed many evil deeds. He plundered merchants' property and harassed and killed the first person he saw simply because he looked unpleasant. They were vicious people who had a strong lust and would rape any beautiful woman they saw, and would kill anyone who stopped them. The Murim Alliance declared them as Murim public enemies, but was never able to catch them. It was not easy to catch him because he was strong in martial arts and even a master of disguise. They enjoyed heavenly life. This saying was popular at one time. The sky is not indifferent. Because he's already dead. It all came out because of interest. And ultimately, these guys ruined my life. A man dressed as a young man came forward and spoke. It would be an honor to the family if Master Li, whom I have always respected, could teach me something. What happens happens. The same thing happened around this time in my life before returning. I was such an idiot back then. Among idiots, he was the most idiotic idiot. Why on earth did you accept Bimu? Of course, I did business with interest in a different situation then, not here now. Even at that time, they followed Mabul. Mabul introduced the Yunnan twins at a banquet where the magicians of our school gathered and caught the wind so that I could not refuse. He took advantage of my psychology. Instead of inviting me to teach them a lesson, I scolded them all. What kind of request is this for your honor? It's not your place. If you make a mistake and get injured, you won't be able to survive. He said it like that back then, just like he does now. Just as it is more effective to ask someone to spill a drink rather than saying, be a man and tip it over, when I was 20 years old and risked my life for the attention of others, I fell for that shallow provocation. Moreover, at that time, I was struggling to make up for my reputation after being poisoned by the mountain communists in the Shinma battle. I personally proved that the lower your self-esteem, the easier it is to fall for the other person's provocation. The results were disastrous. I thought complacently that I might lose to someone of the same age, but we weren't the same age. I broke my arm, cracked my ribs, and had bruises on my face, so I couldn't go out for a while. The problem was not the wounds on the body. My pride was shattered by the fact that I lost to my peer, and the sense of self-destruction that I was so easily taken in by my opponent's provocation tormented me. Not only my father but also the students at our school were disappointed in me. As he was beaten and robbed by a military man from outside, his authority and prestige fell to the ground. The Yunnan twins ran away that day, and their identities were not revealed at the time. Those guys appeared before my eyes again. So how excited was I when they followed Mabul into my room? Of course, you can't hurt this precious body. How scary are the new experts these days? Just remove it like this. The more confident a person is in their abilities, the more relaxed they are in dealing with things like this. Of course, that doesn't mean I'm going to do that today. Still, wouldn't it be polite to refuse a request like this? I was wondering. Does your brother know what kind of authors hang out with Mabul? Bro, even if you know this, it's a problem. Even if you don't know, it's a problem. Thank you for accepting the invitation. He is truly a renowned scientist. But since you've been throwing gold dust in my face, have you heard anything about my reputation? Tell me one thing I've done recently that you know of. Everyone was taken aback, probably not expecting me to ask this out loud. I have a bad brain, so I don't remember much. Since I haven't learned anything, I have no manners. I hope you understand. I knew so. When I first meet him and ask him to dance with me, he has no manners, and seeing how this idiot doesn't even know my personality or skills and wonders why he does this makes me think he has a bad mind. But I'm glad I know myself well. The twins' expressions hardened at the same time at my ridicule. I felt like I was trying hard to suppress the evil that I couldn't hide. Since you have a bad head, why not enjoy it with your body, Li Gongya? Let's do that. So we went outside and stood facing each other in the yard. Everyone who was with me followed suit. Use a recommendation. That's right. I use sword techniques, so be careful not to cut your hands with my sword. You also need to be careful. From now on, you may have to hold that sword with your left hand. When he tightened his eyes and created tension, Hyolki and Doma came forward. I'll go first. As I get older, I sleep more at night. He didn't seem to care about the outcome of the meeting and didn't seem to want to stay with the Archduke and me for a long time. Then Ilwa Jiamzone followed suit. I'll just leave too. If I can't sleep, my skin becomes dull. As the two said goodbye, Jia Muyang greeted them politely. Then go in. I'll see you later. Mabul answered the question my brother wanted to ask. I guess you're not worried about Gongya Li. Hyolki Doma walked away without even glancing at me. No need to worry. Ilwa Jiomjin walked behind him. At least at this time, they were of one mind. They knew well that it was best to avoid gossip about being present in a fight like this, and most of all, they didn't have the slightest hint of concern for me. Surprisingly, Django followed suit. Then, I have some business to do, so I'll just go. As the quick-witted bear tried to leave, the nine-tailed fox followed him. Then I'll leave too. I said to Ian. Ian, are you going too? Yes. I have to go and practice. Others may not know, but you should stay and at least pretend to be worried. You've changed. Yes, it has changed. It's because someone is next to me singing that I need to change, that I need to change. As she walked, she looked back at Seo Dae-ryong. Aren't you going? I plan to stay and watch. I thought it would be helpful in martial arts training. Then, Hyolki Doma, who was walking far away, shouted at him. There's nothing that you can see that will help you. Go and get some sleep. The master said, but he couldn't stay. Seo Dae-ryong looked at me and smiled. That's right. Your ears are so bright. When Seo Dae-ryong left, the leader of Puncheon also moved. If you stay when everyone is gone, you look like a very leisurely person, right? So everyone left one by one. Everyone is so great. No one turned to look at my empty cries. I could tell. The reasons for going may be different, but it was an act of respect for me. I'm showing it to my brother. We trust Li Gongnim to this extent. If you are sophisticated enough to leave, you have shown your loyalty to me in a sophisticated way. Now, only Gowal, who stays with him, is left there. You are truly my loyal subjects. I was going to tell you that I would go in first and sleep. Because I don't like watching fights. It doesn't work. But at least one person needs to see it. Then please finish it quickly. Sure. Everyone watched this with surprised and dumbfounded expressions. Yunnan Shuanggue, who must have felt completely ignored, openly expressed his displeasure, and even Jiao Muyang, who rarely shows his emotions, could not completely hide his expression of surprise at this situation. Everyone took a step forward and said, "The onlookers have gone and the steam has gone, but my fists still have strength, so let's have a fight." He was worried that the meeting might be cancelled. "Don't worry, Ivildor. That's right. It's a long-awaited fight. You've waited longer than you can even imagine. The reason I accepted Bimu was for my own revenge, but more than that, it was to punish them for their evil deeds. Because these people are included in the absolute evil I mentioned. There are people who are so strong that they are called absolute evil, but there are also cases where they are so subtle and evil that they are absolute evil. They are good at disguise, so if they hide somewhere, there is no way to catch them. These people treat other people's lives as if they were flies, but their own lives are so precious that they try to survive at all costs. So these people who live well until they die of old age are absolute evil. I guess Haniel didn't like the catchphrase that he was dead. Seeing as they were sent to me. Now, I won't treat you as a scholar, so be careful. There was no mercy from the first move. No matter how the situation turned out, their mission was to beat me and disappear. How much did you receive from Mabul? Since they came all the way to our school to deal with me, they must have received quite a lot. I dodged the flying fist and lightly grabbed his wrist. The guy was shocked because he never imagined that his wrist would be caught on the first move. Just when the guy tried to shake it off, but his tightly held hand wouldn't budge. No way? The moment the guy opened his eyes, my sword came out as fast as lightning. Suddenly, the man's wrist was cut off in just one day. Ooh! A single scream came out and he instinctively tried to stop the bleeding in his wrist. Easy profit. Suddenly, without any hesitation, I cut off the other wrist as well. Ah! He screamed in pain and waved his severed hands, blood spraying like a fountain. Blood poured down like rain all around. I didn't avoid him, and neither did my brother. We just looked at each other in the pouring blood. At that time, this monster attacked my back. The intention is probably to cure everyone after subduing me. I turned around to stop him, but when I saw my brother pull out his sword, I just stayed there. I love you so much. The harsh sword energy that was released in an instant passed by the side of my face, but I was staring at my brother without even blinking. The sword energy that passed me by cut into pieces the body of the monster that was running from behind. In an instant, the place became a sea of blood. I asked Mabul, "What on earth did you expect?" It was a question that contained many things. My brother said he was far away, but you heard and saw everything about me. Did you think that Yunnan couple could beat me and insult me? Did you think that I would be bullied by them and thrown into a corner of the room like in the past? I peeled the skin off the face of a person who had fallen unconscious. Cheek! Then the face of a middle-aged man appeared inside. Who the hell are you? I deliberately tried to reveal my brother's identity to see his reaction. Everyone just glared at me with resentful eyes and didn't say anything. I'll cut off your ankles. As I raised my sword to cut off his ankle, he shouted, "We are the Yunnan twins." Puck! At that moment, everyone's head exploded. A golden light appeared around the blood and then disappeared. It was Mabul who killed him. Mabul's eyes twinkled with golden light, and an enormous energy pressured the surroundings. This was not the Mabul who had been arguing with the leader of the Puncheon Church. He spoke coldly, exuding a fiercer force than anyone else. Did you ask what I expected? I wanted to show your brother the reality clearly. A person like this, who can cut down the Yunnan twins in a single day, is your competitor. I was going to show you cutting those guys down with the dark magic sword that the cult leader didn't give you. This is the reality you face now. It's not about me. It was something I said to my brother. This guy is Mabul. He is definitely an evil person, but his feelings for his brother are genuine. My eyes turned to Jiao Muyang. Blood was streaming down his face, just like mine. Miss Jiaomu asked me in a calm tone. Are you hurt anywhere? Thanks to. I'm glad to see your martial arts skills have improved like this. It is also good for our school. I improved my martial arts skills, but my brother improved his acting skills. What do you mean? You're not the kind of person who takes just anyone around, right? If you're asking me if I thought the authors were Yunnan twins, I didn't know. I'll see you tomorrow morning when I greet your father. Just like that, my brother and Mabul also left there. I recognized my brother for maintaining his composure even in this situation. I can see why Hyolkyondoma supported him in the past. It's worth it. I walked towards the corpse of Yunnan Shuanggue lying on the floor. The reason I killed them so easily was because I didn't want to attach any meaning to their deaths. It would be a waste to even allow these people even a single word of will. Even the cold food provided in prison is a waste. The best punishment is to kill it like killing an insect and forget its existence. I searched the arms of the two corpses and found the slip. They each had 100,000 Niang voucher. Just know. For 200,000 Niang, you can beat up a scholar from the Heavenly Demon God Church. Gowal laughed lightly at my joke. I gave him the slip. Please add to the work you are doing. Do you think that it is dirty money that comes from these people's arms? Money has no label. The value will be determined depending on how it is used at each time. The next month doesn't make me regret anything. They put so much effort into bringing him to this military era. I will clean up the body. Go in and clean the blood first. I looked up at the sky and said to myself. As soon as my brother returned, blood rain fell from the sky. From episode 88, when the umbilical cord was cut. Jiao Muyang, who had washed off the blood, was standing in front of Dongyang and helping Saibai put on new clothes. He wore a thin robe over his bare body that protected him from sword attacks. On top of that, I led a slightly thicker robe. He showed his obsession with death, at least to Mabul. Mabul was sitting on a chair and watching. There was a possibility that he would complain about bringing in the Yunnan twins, but Jiao Muyang didn't say anything. Mabul could tell he was angry. Gonya Li. Originally, I was going to start the story by saying, "You've changed so much." But I changed my words when I thought it was too obvious. What kind of person are you? In longing, Jiao Muyang answered. I thought I knew my younger brother well, but now I see I don't really know. I wasn't this kind of kid to begin with. You need to forget about the past. Suddenly, Mabul raised his voice, and Saibai, who was touching her collar, scratched Gu Muyang's neck with her fingernails. Oh. I'm sorry, please save me. The husband and wife knelt down on the spot and asked for forgiveness. The atmosphere cooled down in an instant. Why would I kill you for something like this? Jiao Muyang spoke softly, but Mabul coldly intervened. But you can't kill him, right? You saved the life of a woman who damaged the body of the person who would become the heavenly demon. How funny would other people look at you if they heard about it? Shibi pleaded earnestly. Please? Please save me. Jiao Muyang helped her up. Everyone makes mistakes. Stop going out. Thank you, Confucius. Thank you. Shibi left the room. You should not be seen as easily forgiving the mistakes of your subordinates. You should at least punish me. Then Jiao Muyang suddenly asked. Did you ask what kind of person your brother is? Yes, I did. If something like this happens, this is the child who will buy food for the surprised child. He was a warm-hearted child from a young age. But you shouldn't let down your guard. I'm not saying this to encourage you to let down your guard. Didn't you see the Mujuk people earlier? The longing gaze that had been looking towards Mabul turned towards Jiao Muyang himself. Honestly, I was a little jealous. Mabul sometimes thought that this Jiao Muyang was unpredictable. Even though you handle things clearly and calmly, there are times when you suddenly reveal your true feelings like this. While I was thinking about how to react, Jiao Muyang walked over and sat down in front of Mabul. He poured the cool tea into a teacup and drank it. What are you so worried about, Mason? Igonya's skills are great, but more than anything, Hyolkyondoma is a cunning old man. The fact that he chose a Bachelor of Science and Engineering clearly means that there was a good reason. Maybe it's because he bought Saibai a meal, or there's something else we don't know about. Then Jiao Muyang said something unexpected. I think the answer is my father. Mabul was surprised at those words. What do you mean? My father pushed Mujuk while I was away. He lowered the dark magic sword and placed him in the position of the nether pillar. I'm trying to test how I can deal with Mujuk, who has gained strength. I think this is the final test to become a successor. For a moment, I thought that might be the case, but Mabul then shook his head. That won't be it. In the process of Li Gongjae jumping up, the Soul Mason died. The cause of death is said to have been poisoned by coins, but there are many things that are unclear. At first, I believed the Pengchen cult leader's words that it was not the work of a sword dance, but I no longer believed it. It could have been Li Gonggong's doing. Still, do you think it is a test from the religious leader? The sect leader cherished Siafan as the main force of the school. I guess my father didn't expect it to go that far either. Mujak has capabilities that exceed his father's expectations. Then did Li Gongzi really kill the Soul Mason? Then Jiao Muyang asked a question instead of an answer. Can the Mason kill the Sub-Soul Mason? Of course I can, kill. A moment's hesitation tells you what kind of skill the Soul Mason has. Mabul was also an opponent that he had no confidence in as much as Sub-Soul Mason. You're right. He could have killed Mabul. It probably wasn't easy. After saving Mabul's face, Jiao Muyang continued what he had originally wanted to say. Neither I nor Mujak can kill the Sub-Soul Mason with our current martial arts skills. But it might be possible with the help of just one person. Who is that? Jiao Muyang did not answer, as if asking him to think about it himself. Mabul, who thought for a moment who it was, shouted in shock. No way? Are you the leader of the Pengchen Church? You're right. With his help, I could have killed the Soul Mason. Mabul thought it might be possible, but he had one question. What is Pengchen religious leader for? It's for advancing to midfield. In the end, didn't you take on the disciple of the Sub-Soul Mason as your own? Ah. Mabul has never had this kind of suspicion before. Was the Pengchen religious leader behind it in the first place? So you shamelessly came to investigate the body? This is what you're saying. It was Mabul, whose relationship with the Pengchen religious leader had recently worsened. Suspicion and anger interfered with objective judgment. The leader of Pengchen knew that the Masons would call him. It was also the only way for him to confidently enter our school. This was the final doubt that held Mabul back. However, the Pengchen leader does not have the guts to do that. If it were discovered that he had killed the Sufan Mazan, the entire Pengchen church would be destroyed. That can't be possible. There's something my father always told me since I was young. Don't just assume you know someone. Mabul was confused. The Pengchen religious leader he knew was not a great person to commit such a big thing. But what Jiao Muyang said was exactly right. Another reason was added to that. Isn't this something you can tell just by looking at the Pengchen cult soldiers going to Mujak? As you said, would that meticulous blood heavenly demon just hold your hand? I would have caught it because I had this background. What if this is true? Shit! You went to my feet and attracted an evil beast. Don't blame yourself. Rather, I will take advantage of this situation and take control of the Masons. What if the situation is not favorable? Jiao Muyang casually mentioned what Mabul couldn't bring himself to say. Are you going to kill Mujak? No, I won't kill you. How will my father view my older brother killing my younger brother? Mabul felt it. The reason he doesn't kill Jiao Mujuk is not because he is his younger brother, but because his father is watching. Then what do you plan to do? I will attract all those who are attached to Mujak to my side. Mujak is so proud that if his people turn away from him, he will leave the school. Did you see it earlier? People who leave the place without seeing Mujak's dance. Those people will really make Mujak leave. Let's see if we can still laugh and joke. If you leave Gongya Li alive, you will be punished later. Even if you leave like that, if a crisis occurs at our school, if you come to save us, you won't come to kill us. That's his biggest weakness. Jiao Muyang got up again and walked in front of the mirror. He spoke calmly while staring at himself in the mirror. Teacher of Kion Magian is the most powerful position in this martial arts forest. This is not a place for a soft guy like Mujak to sit. You can't even sit down. When I arrived at Kion Magian the next morning, I met my brother at the entrance. It's been a long time since we entered the Kion Magian side by side like this. I see. We walked together. Are you nervous? Not really. But my brother was nervous. He was unusually stiff in front of his father. From a young age, my older brother wanted to impress his father. When I was young, my older brother heard my father call him our eldest son just once, and he bragged about it for years, not just days. If I am currently obsessed with Wamugi, my older brother must be obsessed with my father. My brother and I entered Kionmajian. My father and General Commander Simon were there together. We walked the bloody path side by side. Demonic statues erected everywhere were watching us with cold, strange eyes for my brother's return. Father, have you been well? My older brother bowed deeply to my father. Welcome back. I looked at my father's expression. The face towards my brother was filled with joy. On the other hand, my brother was nervous. I could feel him trembling. I guess you're happy that your eldest son is back. My father didn't respond to anything I said. My father, when we walked through Regression together, felt different from my father now. I understand my father has become more blunt. At this time, before returning home, my father was already thinking of his older brother as his successor. This return shook my father's heart, but the person who entered his heart first was my older brother. If I don't understand my father's feelings toward my older brother, I will never win this fight. And we must not forget that my ultimate enemy is neither my father nor my brother. What happened to what happened? My older brother confidently answered my father's question. We have all overcome the final hurdle. At those words, my father's expression brightened. My brother didn't go to the outskirts to do chores. The 9 walls of magical tools. The Magogu wall was the school's secret training center hidden in the outskirts. My father opened the place to my older brother. Just like Sochendong, the magic wall could only be entered with the permission of the heavenly demon. It was really not easy to overcome the magic tool wall. It was a gateway 1 level higher than Sochendong, which I passed through earlier. However, I was able to give up halfway through the magic tool wall and get out. It could be seen as a safer but more difficult gateway. Simon Ming was also very happy. I would like to reduce it, Grand Duke. Passing through the magic wall. It seems like you really can't fall blood. My older brother is also the one who inherited my father's blood. His martial arts talent was second to none. I asked, pretending not to know. Where did you pass through? Then Simon Ming smiled and said, the Grand Duke passed through the magic wall. I hugged Warwick. Amazing, bro. My father and Simon Ming were startled by my actions. Rather, my older brother, who was the person involved, accepted my congratulations obediently because he had experienced my change. Thanks. Then you must have achieved great success in the Baishan sword technique. If it were just the two of us, I wouldn't have answered, but since my father was there, my brother answered honestly. Of course, he didn't do it to me, he did it to my father. In the process of passing through my father's magic tool wall, I also achieved great success in the Baishan sword technique. Congratulations. It's all thanks to my father's teachings. Thank you, father. My father's eyes turned to my brother and me. What is your father thinking right now? I will reduce the number, Grand Duke. Thank you, soldier. Congratulations, brother. Thanks. In this friendly atmosphere, I have something to say to your father. My eyes turned to my father. For us, the cutting of the umbilical cord was the signal that the battle for succession had begun. It was that kind of life, and I will continue to live that kind of life. So that's it. Dad, this time I'm going to have a friendly competition with my brother. What do you think? Instead of answering me, my brother spoke to my father. Father, I didn't know that Mujuk had grown so much while I was away. He really showed his maturity. My father just looked down at us in silence. What are you thinking? Even at this moment, are you keeping score on who will be a suitable successor? My father didn't say anything about what I said. Friendly competition? If you were with me, you might have said that it was just a cheap sentiment worth dying for. However, the reason I insisted on saying it was because I also told my father. He said he would try to carry his brother. You guys go back and get some rest. My brother and I said hello to our father and left Kionmajian on foot along the path of blood. I asked at the entrance, Brother, why do you want to become the heavenly demon? Then my brother blurted out, because if I don't become the heavenly demon, I die. I thought my brother would have given a different answer, but it was a very surprising answer. Are you going to die if you lose the succession battle? Everyone is dead so far. Can't we just not kill him? The Jiomuyang Jeondujuk brothers demonstrate a brotherly love that will forever be remembered in the history of the demonic church. Do you think the other brothers didn't feel the same way? In the end, all humans betray. Why don't we do it? Jia Muyang chuckled at my words and took the first step. I shouted to my brother who was walking far away. I was serious. Let's compete in good faith. My brother stopped walking, turned to me and said, "Then you should have first asked whether I had any good intentions in my heart. Are you there?" "I have." "Then I'll have a head start in this fight." I finally smiled as I watched my brother walking again. Well, how could this be easy? It's so difficult to make someone who likes me become my person. But we have to do it, brother. The name of the dagger that will stab us in the back is not Brotherhood, but Wamugi. Episode 89. I am not the fish I caught. After breaking up with my brother, I went to see Ian. I don't know why I suddenly thought of Ian, but maybe it was because I wanted to see the person who understood me the best. Ian was training hard today as well. This is Ian, who is only training to meet. Her appearance overlapped with me, who was collecting Darfar materials before returning. Me, who never rested toward only one goal. After practicing for a while, she belatedly noticed that I had come. "Young master. When did you come?" "A moment ago." "What if you were an assassin? You must have died at least 20 times, right?" "Iced coffee." I drew my sword and stepped in front of her. "Let's reduce that number from 20 to 19. Ian's eyes lit up when he realized that I was going to demonstrate the flying sword technique. "Thank you." It was a demonstration that had not been seen in a long time. I did not necessarily lower the level to show it, but showed it as it was in the level of the 11 states. There is a big difference between when it was the 10 stars and now. Of course she won't feel it as much as I do. Her achievement depended on how much she felt the difference. When I finished eating from start to finish, Ian was standing there deep in thought. I could tell that Ian fell into a trance at some point. In order not to disturb her, I quietly sat cross-legged, not even breathing. Since you never know when you will come out of the trance, you can't just wait. I started training Kionma self-defense gong. I was in a trance before because I was well suited for training with her, but today she fell into it. After about 6 hours, I felt her come out of her trance. Congratulations, Ian. I congratulated her in my heart. 6 visions or falling into a trance do not come easily in the life of a warrior. Ian was confused when he saw his surroundings becoming dark. "Young master. How was it?" "My first trance feeling." "Trance? Could it be that I was in a trance?" "Okay. I think you were dazed for a moment." "Well, if you think about our lives, 6 o'clock is just a moment." "It's been 6 o'clock." Ian was surprised. In a trance, the most important moment is always when you just wake up. Try using the Baishan sword technique right now. Yes. Ian performed the Baishan sword technique in front of me. It really worked. It wasn't there at all. Her flying sword technique has reached the level of 8 saints. How can you do this when I just saw you practicing grasshoppers? How long? It's possible because you've always trained like a bear. Could it have been possible just by watching my demonstration? Anyway, that's true. All the hard work you had accumulated melted away in this trance. Ah. I am working hard to teach her, and she is extremely talented in martial arts. Reaching the level of 11 gave her deeper inspiration and, crucially, reaching the state of trance of 6. It was a miraculous achievement created by the combination of all of this. There's nothing to like too much. As you know, the achievement of martial arts is fast at first, but becomes slower as time goes by. Think of the Baishan sword technique starting from now on. It could take a lifetime to get from Pulseong to Guseong, let alone Deseong. I will definitely achieve greatness even if it takes my whole life. Heaven gave me such a precious relationship, but it would be so pathetic and unfair if I couldn't go. At the same time, the time to perform the poison purification technique on her was one step closer. My level of martial arts knowledge is also important in order to perform a kidney poison purification technique safely without side effects. But after that, her level is important. If you think about it, the best in the world with weak martial arts will have terrible things waiting for you. The right time, I thought, was to perform a poison purification technique when she reached composition. If I have the Baishan sword technique, I will be able to protect my body no matter where I go. But with her accomplishments today, I thought it could be a lot faster than I thought. I'm going to die 20 times, but now I'm going to die twice. Ian was so moved that he bowed on the spot. Thank you, Master. A new relationship between us. What on earth is our relationship? I was just an escort. Why on earth are you so nice to me? This whole story could begin because you sacrificed yourself to protect me. Ian. Yes. When I came back from meeting my brother, I was distraught. Do you know who I was thinking of at that time? It's you. That's why they treat me well. She looked at me with emotion. And you wrote 2 out of 5 questions. I decided to ask only 5 times why you are so kind to me. Now there are 3 left. I will use it sparingly. The Bishan sword technique has reached 8 levels, so it must be used with caution. The power will be completely different from before. Yes, Master. Ian. It doesn't suit you, who is so crazy excited, but don't live a life where you only focus on martial arts training. Yes. Ian smiled broadly and nodded. Ian, this is why. Because this is the person next to you who nods your head. Even though you are smart and clever and have your own thoughts, you are the one who smiles like this and nods your head when I say anything. Because he is the kind of person I wish I had in my life. Because he is the kind of person who can give you a different answer even if you ask him not 4 times, but 100 times. Cheer up, Ian. Let's go to composition. When I came back from meeting Ian, Hyolkian Daoma was waiting for me with a great blade of death in the ground around my residence. Why are you here? It reminded me of the day I first met you here. Do you want to get everything back now that your brother is back? I think I should at least let you know that it wasn't the fish I caught. He pulled out the immortal blade that was stuck in it and drew a long line on the ground. This is where I first met you. Hyolkian Daoma drew a line at the very beginning of the line. The first day he came to see me, he drew a line on the floor like this, poking my side. And now here. He drew a new line a little more than halfway through the line. Oh. More than halfway through. I barely got over it. Is this something you'll like so much? This is enough. That's enough. Whether you are a friend or a foe, you are a friend, and whether you are alive or dead, it is your birthday. Doesn't it feel burdensome to be too close to someone? I don't have the confidence to take care of that person until the end, but that person keeps crossing the line and coming into my direction. I pulled out the black magic sword and drew a line near the end of the line. Shouldn't you be a child to come this far? Well, my father is probably around here. This time, the line was drawn again in a place that did not reach the level of the chopping block. How can you speak so well? Do you prepare all night and come out? What should I say today and how can I memorize it all night long? Please tell me that when I come to see you. Not the day the old man suddenly came to visit me. The Hyolkian Daoma shook his head as if he could not win. The reason he came to see me was because of his brother. I came because I have something to tell you about the Archduke. Please speak. Perhaps the first Mason the Archduke meets will be an extremely evil demon. Please prepare yourself. In fact, his judgment was correct. In the past, the 3 Masons who most strongly supported my brother were Mabul, Blood Heavenly Demon, and Extreme Evil Soma. In his life before returning, his older brother commits many cruel things at a future point in time when he is determined to be his successor. It wasn't just because of my brother's decision. At that time, I had demons attached to my brother, including demons-like demons, blood demons, and extreme evil demons. Their influence was great. Will my brother's fate also change like Hyolkian Daoma or Ilhwajiamjin? In order to do that, the fate of Demon Bull and Extreme Soma must be changed, right? After Mabul, the person closest to me would be Extreme Soma. Originally it was me, but now Extreme Soma will take that place. The Archduke probably expects to meet all the other Masons except me. The only difference will be the order in which we meet. I nodded silently. Even Extreme Soma is no ordinary person. I know. How could it be that the name of the star has something extremely evil attached to it? You have to prepare. Are you planning on just staying like this? Yes. You're going to leave it alone. All I need is the Elder and Geon's and Senior. It's a good thing to hear, but if the 5 Masons side with the Archduke, it will be difficult to deal with them. Why 5 and not 6? Now that the leader of the Puncheon sect has arrived, doesn't the Soul Mason naturally come to our side? Gyeongseon is still young and ambitious, so it cannot necessarily be said that this is the case. Rather, he is the person who is easiest to be captured by his older brother. I could have acted like I was on the same side and then turned my back. My brother might use her as a threat. There are many possibilities. It doesn't matter if the Soul Mason is on the other side. If we are taken in by my brother, we may be able to take advantage of him in a critical situation. Have you even thought about it? I have to do it. Of course, I plan to make sure that doesn't happen as much as possible. It was not because of Kyongseon, but because of the leader of Pungcheon. It was because he wanted to see Subhonmasan become his disciple and grow well. Then there are 6 opponents. No matter how much you do, it's hard to do this. No, I can't because I'm having a hard time. We need to make sure we get at least one of the Masons to our side. Who do you mean? Hyul Kyondoma tried to speak to someone but stopped. That's for you, the smart one, to decide. He thinks there are people on our side, but he seems to think that what he is saying is not right. It also meant trusting my own judgment. Hurry and move before the Archduke captures all the Mason. My brother will meet someone other than Extreme Soma first. Who else? I stared at the blood-chopping block. Me. Hyul Kyondoma blinked with an expression that asked what that meant. Me. Your brother will visit the elder first. No way. Don't you know that I'm on your side? Even if it goes to all the other Masons, it won't come to me. No, even if I don't go to other Masons, I will definitely go to the elder. After you, the leader of the Pungcheon Church will be the leader. Hyul Kyondoma tilted his head as if he didn't believe my confidence. What makes you think that? You might want to show it to your father. The reason the old man came to me was simply because he was absent. You would think that taking away one elder would score more points with your father than having all the other Masons. Hyul Kyondoma slowly nodded. Since it doesn't say that it's not, it seems like it could be so. Hyul Kyondoma looked at me intently and asked. Then aren't you anxious? I'm afraid I'll go to the Archduke again. I said after a moment. I'm anxious. Really? I spoke to him with a non-playful face. Sure. You saw him that day, right? Giving a gift to Ildwa Jeomjeon. It's not just the gift that's amazing, but the meticulousness of it. And I will try to give something even greater to the elderly. Hyul Kyondoma nodded. Because he was someone who knew enough about his brother. I hope you don't go. Please tell me any good suggestions you have. I'll grab you with a better offer. You're not telling me to remain loyal, are you? We're not 20-year-olds, are we? You are right, right? Oh, that's right. Instead, I am a young old man. I smiled sheepishly. At least I won't be able to take the elderly with me. Why? I will give you a better offer even if it means risking everything. If, by any chance, a threat is made to identify a weakness, you must inform us of that as well. Why is that again? I will definitely solve it. If you're asking if you can do it, I think I've shown you enough so far. If you feel like you don't want to show me your weaknesses, please consider that we have seen everything we can and cannot see. After staring at me in silence for a moment, Hyul Kyondoma stood up, retracting the immortal blade from where it was deeply embedded. Let's see if it comes to me first, like you said. As he was about to leave, he glanced down at the line drawn on the floor. Where might this line move? Episode 90, a relationship is worse than not being close. In fact, Hyul Kyondoma had a great feeling of disbelief until he told Jeomujuk that he would wait and see. Jeomuyang comes to see you first? Without taking care of other Mason? That can't be possible. However, as if it were part of a dance performance, Jeomuyang came that night. What's going on with you? Then, Jeomuyang held up the liquor bottle he had brought. I came here because I wanted to have a drink with the elderly. If I remember correctly, you like this drink, right? I managed to remember. Now come here. Instead of letting him into the house, Hyul Kyondoma sat facing him on a large rock in the yard. It's refreshing, so let's have a drink here. Great. Hyul Kyondoma brought Saibai a drink and a simple snack. We met on the day Jeomuyang returned, but we weren't in a situation to look after each other at that time. Now, for the first time, Hyul Kyondoma calmly observed Jeomuyang's prayers. Indeed, the prayer was different from when I left. I heard that you have overcome the magic tool wall. Thanks to your concern, I passed. Congratulations. Thank you. The leader must have been pleased. Yes. Hyul Kyondoma asked various questions about the magic tool wall, and Jeomuyang answered as sincerely as she could. In the past, the two used to talk about martial arts. Jia Muyang liked talking about Hyalkian Doma and martial arts. Strangely enough, I connected well with him. When the alcohol was almost empty, Hyalkian Doma spoke first. I came here because I wanted to ask you something. So feel free to ask. Okay, then, like a man, I'll ask without interrupting. Why did you choose your brother? I think there must be a reason or a reason. Of course there is. Hyalkian Doma thought for a moment about what to say and then answered like this. Your brother has the power to attract people's hearts. Jia Muyang nodded silently. It has the power to attract hearts. I expected many answers and thought there might be answers like this. However, when she heard it in person, Jia Muyang was overcome with feelings of confusion and regret. In his entire life, he had never heard of someone being attractive to him. I have never felt such power from Mujuk. Oh, I'm not saying this to disparage Mujuk. I'm curious about what that feels like. Of course you didn't feel it. There would have been no reason for Li Gongya to be attracted to you, and wouldn't you have had the luxury of accepting your younger brother's feelings? Yes, I did. Hyalkian Doma poured a drink for Jia Muyang, who nodded obediently. You are a great warrior. He definitely has the qualities to become a heavenly demon. Hyalkian Doma truly thought so. Really, I would have continued to support Jia Muyang if Jia Mujuk hadn't been acting like a crazy person. And yet you chose your younger brother, right? There are times in people's lives when they are pushed around by a sudden wind. I wish I was where the wind is heading. I want to go down this path with my elders. The eyes toward Hyalkian Doma were shining. At least at this moment, Jia Muyang was speaking the truth. Aren't there many other Masons? No. I really need an older person. The reason is, although Mabul followed him like his right-hand man, deep down in Jia Muyang's heart, he preferred Hyalkian Doma. Because you are someone I really need. He gave no other reason. I thought that Hyalkian Doma might have been moved by this earnestness if he had not heard from Jia Mujuk that Jia Muyang would be visiting. May I give you some suggestions? To do. When I become the heavenly demon, I will place you in the position of the first demon. Gile Mason. Yes. We will create the best position among the Mason that is recognized by the Kion Magian. Additionally, we will increase the size of the Namdo Bell to 3 times its current size. We will lift the limit on the number of demons and significantly increase support for the Namdo sect. In addition, we will open Kion Maseogak especially to the elderly. You are welcome to come and see it any time. Jia Muyang knew that Hyalkian Doma liked books. In the Kion Maseogak, not only military secrets were stored. There were many poems and literary works that were difficult to find in the market that Hyalkian Doma would like to see. Considering the fairness with other Masons, it was truly an unconventional proposal. Of course, Hyalkian Doma was not naive enough to believe everything he said. Later, when you become a heavenly demon, what will you do if you say, the opposition from other Magans is stronger than I expected, so please make some concessions? He would even be older than he is now, turning into a toothless tiger. Mabul, will that person be upset if he hears it? He must be confident that he will become the first Mason. Of course, Jia Muyang seemed to have expected this reaction and was not embarrassed at all. I can't help it. Although I respect and like Mr. Mabul, I think Mr. Doma is the most suitable person for that position. You can tell the old man Mabul what I just said. It seems like he has faith that he will never say this to Mabul. Where on earth did this belief come from? Does he think of himself as such a noble person? I will consider your offer. Thank you. After toasting the last drink, Jia Muyang stood up. Jia Muyang, who was about to leave, added the last thing. Elder, I will definitely become the heavenly demon. After Jia Muyang disappeared, Hyalkian Doma took something out of his mouth. It was blood liquor given as a gift by Jia Mujuk. He did not completely trust Jia Muyang, who brought him alcohol. Hyalkian Doma said to himself. Yes, there was a time when I was sure of that. When Jia Muyang returned, Mabul was waiting for him. Have you ever visited Hyalkian Doma? This school is still the same. There are no secrets. What kind of secret command is it that you confidently visit in broad daylight like that? Why did you do that? I went to appease him. So? He said he would think about it. He is a traitor. Mabul deliberately used the strong word traitor. A person who changes his mind once will change his mind again. You know, right? Then Jiomuyang said something surprising. You were drinking, and you had poisoned blood in your mouth. As long as that person doesn't go crazy. Compared to the angry Mabul, Jiomuyang was calm. It didn't seem like they were intentionally trying to hide it. I don't trust you, Thomas said. Please do not interact with me anymore. Even more surprising words came out of Jiomuyang's mouth. Indeed, I offered to give the position of first Majin to the elderly Doma. For a moment, Mabul was startled. It was so unexpected that I froze for a moment. I originally thought that the position of first Majin was mine. So Mabul waited for the next words. First of all, I said this to appease, so don't worry about it. But Jiomuyang didn't say that. So what is it? Are you really going to give it to me? Mabul bit his molars without realizing it. You can tell if a person is clenching their molars if you look closely at them. Moreover, how could a master like Jiomuyang not know? However, Jiomuyang pretended not to see anything and did not react at all. All kinds of thoughts ran through Mabul's mind. Was it a mistake? Or because you are insensitive? Or is it knowingly or intentionally? I thought that maybe they were trying to punish me for bringing in the Yunnan twins this time. Similar things have happened in the past. The most perplexing thing about moments like this is that Jiomuyang is a more intelligent and smarter person than anyone else. So, Mabul was always confused by the thought that it might not have been just a mistake, but an action with some intention. And this is the worst part of all. Not being able to express these feelings. If it were anyone else, I would have already asked directly. Why? Are you ignoring me? Don't do this. But those words did not come easily to Jiomuyang. Is it because I started the relationship wrong? Or is there some kind of invisible wall that Jiomuyang intended to erect between him and himself? The relationship between Jiomuyang and himself is one in which he suffers alone. A relationship is worse than not being close. In the end, Mabul summed it up like always. Yes, that can happen. You're still young. As an adult, I have to endure it. This is because the task he took on was to turn an energetic young man into a heavenly demon. We have to take care of our people too. They're all watching, too. You should understand that these words came after many thoughts. Did he read Mabul's inner thoughts? I don't have much affection for other Masons. What do you mean? Why don't you and Thomas come out and say who you support? But the rest of the Mason are just watching. Will you be on the advantageous side later? It's so shallow. It would have been great if only Hyalki and Doma had been left out of those words. No, if he was really trying to deceive himself, he would have removed it intentionally. Being honest like this would be respecting yourself. But we still need them. I only trust the elderly. Mabul and Jiomuyang looked at each other and smiled. Mabul felt relieved to some extent, but the pain in his heart did not go away. So who are you giving the first Mason to? But in the end, neither Jiomuyang nor Mabul said anything about him. Hyalki and Doma came to me with a surprised face. You were right. The Archduke really came to visit me. How on earth did you know? This is a secret. I have the ability to see the future. Seeing as how crazy you are still, I guess someone took your mind away with a spirit spell. I said with a smile at Hyalki and Doma's joke. Didn't I tell you? My brother is naturally like that. This time, I felt something big again. Hyalki and Doma hesitated for a moment in what he was going to say. But it was something I said anyway. Indeed, given his personality, it was something he would hesitate to say. I realized once again what kind of person you are to me. I'm nervous. This was the first time that Hyalki and Doma spoke about me in this way. What does it mean? No matter what temptation the Grand Duke tried, I didn't listen. As you said, he made an unconventional offer. But it didn't move me at all. In my ear, I heard the door of his heart open a little more. I was thankful for the Hyalkian cutting board. I was so thankful that he told me that fact. Yes, I have to say this to understand. Everyone acts like they know everything, but if you don't tell them, you won't know. I immediately pulled out my black magic sword and drew a line on the floor. And I drew a line a little further to the right than the line that Hyalki and Doma drew before. Are you here now that you care for me? Although Hyalki and Doma did not deny it, he also did not forget the warning. But you know what will happen if you do that, right? What happens? You will pay a heavy price. Among the products that come with a price, the ones displayed at the front are the ones with the best results. Perhaps because he reads a lot of books, Hyolkyondoma sometimes uses expressions that don't suit him. I really like this side of him. I'll keep that in mind. If what you said is true, the Archduke would also visit the leader of the Punchan Church. Can I leave it as is? I have to leave it. Will that person be as strong as me? Aren't there 2 people instead? 2 people? Who? Go all. The leader of the Punchan Church will definitely discuss the matter with Gaou. Do you believe in Gaou? Yes. You shouldn't trust people so easily. I think that Hyolkyondoma's wariness includes a bit of jealousy. Since I had no intention of using that jealousy to win over Hyolkyondoma's heart, I obediently followed his words. Yes, I will always be on guard. Please take good care of your elders as well. Of course. By the way, do you plan to just stay there while the Archduke is wandering around like this? It's been a while since I came back, so I have to give up the lead at least once. Let's see how my brother turns out. I thought it was a good thing. My brother would put us all to the test. Let's see if the ground hardens after the rain or if we end up rolling around naked in the mud.